Hey and welcome to the Mum Boss Method podcast. I'm Chrissy and I am the Mum Boss, and this is episode 99, which means the next episode is episode 100, and I cannot believe I have a podcast that has 100 episodes. Full disclosure, if you are listening to this on the podcast rather than watching on YouTube, you will not see that I have a bit of a red nose and red lips. That is because I have just eaten the most delicious Thai prawn salad, but it had about 3 different kinds of chili in it, so I have completely destroyed my nose, my sense of smell. My lips are tingling, my tongue is tingling, but hey, we roll. It's all going to be fine. It doesn't matter. Let me tell you about today's episode. I wanted to cover a bit of a what you eat matters, because I had this conversation with a few of my clients recently who were talking about how, despite the fact they were they felt like they were eating within their calorie targets, they weren't making as much progress as they felt they should be, and also they felt rubbish and low on energy. And so I thought that we would cover this because I think it's really important to understand. And the reason I brought this up as well, not just because my clients have talked about it, but there are so many plans and coaches out there that will talk about things like if it fits your macros, that will talk about, you can eat anything you want and on my program and you'll still lose weight and it's all going to be fine. Now, I want to be really clear. One of the things I talk about on my program is that you don't have to give up the things that you enjoy, the things that you love. And that's true. You don't have to ban yourself from chocolate, crisps, bread, pasta, wine, gin, takeaways. You don't have to ban yourself from those things. But in order to make progress and achieve your goals, you will need to compromise in some areas. So there's some really interesting YouTube videos out there where you can type in the search bar, man loses weight by eating McDonald's. Okay, there's lots of examples of that. I think Jordan Syatt did something really similar, but there are loads of examples of where people have lost weight by eating things like McDonald's, KFC, Burger King, takeaways. And in all of those videos, now, not that I've watched all of them, but I would be very surprised if any of those videos didn't depict people who felt rubbish because of the fact they lived on takeaways for 30, 60, 90 days, however long they did it for. There's loads of variations. You can have a look. Now, why do I bring that up? One of the things that I talk about is that calories are king. So when we talk about dieting, our aim is to put you in a negative and energy balance. And all diets work the same way. And, I've done an episode on that, which I can point you to and link in the show notes. But all diets work the same way by making sure that the aim is that you are eating less calories than you are burning or expending. And some diets do that by restricting a whole food group, like keto will restrict all of your carbs, or you can do intermittent fasting where you shorten your feeding window. Some people will shorten their feeding window to 8 hours. Some people go really extreme and will shorten their feeding window to about 4 hours. So they literally have 4 hours to eat their calories. Slimming World, Weight Watchers, Herbalife, any kind of shake diet, any of these diets, the way that they work is by putting you in a negative calorie balance. And the best way of doing that is via food. You can also increase your energy expenditure, i.e. via movement, whether it's just general moving around or whether it is through exercise. However, unless you are an athlete who is training twice a day for 2-3 hours each time, it is really hard to put yourself in a negative calorie balance through exercise alone. So the approach that I take is both. So I want you to up your exercise and your movement, but I also want you to drop your calories a little bit. And one of the things that I do is give solid education around the great things that you should be eating that are going to support you in a calorie deficit, but also, and most importantly, support your health. But going back to that first point I made, when you work with me, nothing is banned, but it is still really important that you understand it doesn't mean you can eat anything you want in any quantities that you want, because your food and drink choices matter. Okay? The aim of working with me and the aim of any good weight loss coaching program, because there are lots of people out there that do what I do, is to help you to create and build habits that lead you to making healthy choices 80 to 90% of the time, and choosing your indulgences, okay, consciously, choosing them consciously and really enjoying them. So what I want to do is break that down a little bit and give you some examples. So one of the reasons that I brought this up as a topic for my podcast is I was having a conversation with a client who was working with me, and on looking in her food diary, I was noticing that she was drinking about 5 nights a week. Now, not that she was drinking a bottle of wine 5 nights a week, but it was 1 or 2 gins, strong gins, large gins a week, about 3 times a week. Excuse me, there's the chili. 1 to 3 like large gins during the week, and then either wine or prosecco or some more gin over the weekend. And whilst she said she felt like she was staying within her calorie balance whilst eating and drinking in the way that she was, actually there are other effects of alcohol other than just calories. And this is a podcast topic in itself, but I feel it's important to talk about it here. Alcohol has other effects on the body. Alcohol impacts your sleep. Even one drink can negatively impact your sleep. It can also dysregulate your hunger hormones, so make you hungrier and dial down the sensitivity of the hormone that tells you when you're full. Then, because of that poorer quality of sleep, you are more likely to be lethargic the next day and to make poorer food and movement choices. Even after 1 or 2 drinks, this can happen to some people. If you're a menopausal, get your teeth in, Chrissy. If you're a menopausal, perimenopausal woman, alcohol also can impact some of your menopause symptoms. So if you are prone to hot flushes, for example, or night sweats, there is a real common link, a real clear link between those symptoms and alcohol consumption. even after just a couple of drinks. And again, if those night sweats and hot flushes affect you, night sweats being at night, but if the hot flushes affect you at night, that's also then going to affect your quality of sleep. As well as after, a couple of drinks, our choices and our decision making is impaired. Okay, that's why we're not allowed to drive after a certain number of units of alcohol. And so actually we could end up mindlessly eating, having a few drinks, someone gets the snacks out, and before we know it, we've done half a sharing bag of dry roasted peanuts. And you might not realise how many you've eaten. So that's just one example in terms of alcohol. But the other things I want to talk about are kind of your food choices as well. So, I work with clients and I teach them to change up some of their food choices. And I was speaking to a brand new client yesterday, and one of the things that she said to me is often breakfast is a couple of slices of toast and peanut butter. Lovely, nothing wrong with that in terms of how it tastes. It's not poisonous for us, it's not bad for us, there's no good or bad food. And then lunch is often a sandwich, now with maybe some ham and cheese or some tuna or some chicken. Now the problem with those two meals is that we are really minimal on our protein, and we are really minimal on our fruit and veg. You'll have a bit of salad with your sandwich, or in your sandwich. You may well think, right, okay, a couple of slices of bread, it's about 180 calories or 190 calories, maybe some peanut butter, that's probably another 100 calories. So 300 calories, great, that is breakfast within my calories. And then a sandwich, a little bit of chicken breast, maybe 150, 200 calories, depending on the size, couple of slices of bread, bit of cucumber, maybe a packet of crisps. All right, it's about 500 calorie lunch. So for breakfast and lunch, I've had 800 calories. Great. So I'm on 1600 calories a day, which means I've got another 800 calories for dinner. Okay. On the face of it, and because calories are king, that seems fine. And 800 calories for dinner is a really nice amount. However, there's two things that I want to say about this. Firstly, we're not getting enough of the nutrients, both macronutrients and micronutrients we need in those two meals. So protein being something you have all heard me talk about before, really, really important to keep you full, to keep your blood sugar stable, to keep you satisfied, to stop you snacking. And also, because you are losing body fat, we want you to maintain as much of your muscle mass to keep you strong, to keep you able to move, to keep you independent for as long as possible. And so it's really important we eat a high protein diet. And there is minimal protein in those two meals, right? There's probably about 40 grams of protein between those two meals. At a push, that's if you've had quite a lot of chicken in your sandwich. But if you're going for like wafer thin ham or the ready sliced chicken that is right for a sandwich, it's probably not going to be. So you're not getting enough protein, which means that by about 3 o'clock, you're going to want to snack again because your blood, you'll probably, you'll probably be hungry because you've not had very much protein. And your blood sugar would have dipped. And so you might get that 3-4 p.m. lull in energy. And so what you're going to want to do, despite the fact you've told yourself, great, I've got 800 calories for dinner, you're going to need to snack. And maybe you're in the office and you thought that, your sandwich and packet of crisps was going to be enough for you. So you have very little choice on what you can snack on. You maybe didn't take any fruit with you. And so the vending machine or the shop, the office canteen with all the chocolate bars is calling. So cup of tea, couple of biscuits or some chocolate bars to keep you going. And this is something that I often see in people. So, the first thing that we're talking about there is this lack of protein. The other thing that we need to talk about is the lack of micronutrients from the lack of fruit and vegetables. You're lucky in those 2 meals if you've even got one portion of vegetables from maybe some salad in your sandwich, but it won't even be one portion. It's really hard to get a whole portion of veg in a sandwich via salad. So fruit, vegetables, eating the rainbow, you will have heard of this so often, is so important for our health, not just for weight loss, although I will come back to the benefits of eating lots of fruit and veg for weight loss shortly. But for your health, having a really varied diet that includes lots of different fruits and vegetables is really important for your health, because those fruits and vegetables contain all the micronutrients that your body will need. And it's important to keep you healthy. It's important for your gut health. An increased level of fruit and vegetables are closely linked to a reduction in obesity, a reduction in metabolic conditions like heart diseases, certain cancers, type 2 diabetes. And that is why we talk about, government guidance is that you should eat 5 portions of fruit and veg a day. I think that should be your absolute bare minimum. And I actually think you should be aiming for, 6, 7, 8, 9 more, because they are so good for you. And the other thing that to say about fruit and vegetables in connection with fat loss is that you get such a huge volume of food for relatively little calories. Now, when I talk about fruit and vegetables, I'm not talking about, potatoes or parsnips. Potatoes are a starchy vegetable. They are higher in calories. I'm talking about all your different fresh fruits and vegetables. And you may have been on a diet previously or come across diets that tell you can only have 1 or 2 portions of fruit a day because of the sugar in fruit. And I'm telling you to just absolutely bin that off. No one got obese or type 2 diabetes by eating too many apples. Okay? So you can absolutely eat so much more food if you are packing in the fruit and vegetables to your food, to your meals. So if we go back to our peanut butter and toast and we go back to our chicken salad sandwich, a better option, so the first level of this I'm going to say is, rather than take anything away from this client and say, no, you can't have peanut butter on toast for breakfast, how about adding a side of fresh berries? Like at the moment, strawberries are gorgeous, right? So how about adding a handful of fresh strawberries onto the side of that? That feels like it goes together. Peanut butter and jam, strawberries, jam. Okay, you don't have to eat it with the strawberries on the peanut butter, but I'm just giving you examples. So I'm not taking away anything, but what I want her to do is to add in some berries, so that she's adding in a portion of fruit to her breakfast. We could take this one step further, and I could say, okay, rather than having 2 slices of toast and peanut butter, can you have 1 slice of toast and peanut butter, and then can you make yourself a protein smoothie, which includes some protein powder or some Greek yogurt, some milk and some fresh berries. And then I know she's getting her peanut butter and toast, which she really enjoys, but she's also getting some fresh fruit and she's getting some protein from her smoothie. And there we have a complete meal. And yes, it's probably going to be, depending on the option, adding the strawberries to the peanut butter and toast, yes, it might boost up the calories by about 50 calories. That's okay. If she's taking away one of the toast and making a smoothie, as long as she's being conscious of what she's adding to that smoothie, it's probably going to work out about the same. So maybe a little bit maybe a little bit more, but we've already said she's got 800 calories for dinner, so it's fine. And then when it comes to our lunchtime meal, again, I might start by adding to this rather than taking something away. And I might say, right, that's fine, have your chicken salad sandwich, but I want you, rather than going for, you know, the wafer thin chicken or ham, I want you to go for, you know, the actual chicken breast chunks or thick slices and have more of it. And then I'd, put your salad in your sandwich, but I'd also love for you to have, you know, some carrot sticks, some cucumber sticks, some celery sticks on the side. And, you know, if you want something to dunk those in, you could have some hummus, some reduced fat hummus or something like that. So I'm not taking anything away, I'm adding. If I then, so you can see here, we're increasing the food volume. We're increasing the calories slightly, but we're also increasing the size of the meal, and we're increasing the nutrient value. And then if I wanted her to make some changes, I might say, you know what, take away the bag of crisps. Let's take away the bag of crisps, and you can have, you know, a bit more hummus and loads of veggie sticks. Add some peppers in there as well, and maybe a piece of fruit for your pudding afterwards, right? So here we've extended the time the meal takes to eat. I mean, if you recently looked in a bag of Walker's crisps, it is less than a child's handful of crisps in there for about 200 calories, when for the same amount of calories she could have, you know, a fairly reasonable sized amount of hummus and loads of veggie sticks to dunk in it. So that might be a tweak we make. But what we're doing here is we are creating a more balanced, more rounded, more healthy meal that has all of our macronutrients, so our carbs, our fats, our protein, but also a variety of fruit and vegetables. Yes, that might mean she has a bit less calories for dinner, but again, if she takes the same principle and she looks at her protein and she adds a load of veggies and is more cautious with her carbs and doesn't, you know, deep fry stuff in a whole load of vegetable oil, 500, 600 calories will be fine for dinner. That's plenty. Now, I've used this kind of 1600 calorie person as an example. Your weight loss calories might be slightly more, they might be slightly less, but you get where I'm coming from. What we're doing here is we are creating a healthier meal. And you know, one of the things that I am so clear on in the Mum Boss method is making sure that what you are doing is done for health reasons, not just weight loss reasons. Because at the end of the day, you can lose a stone, 3 stone, 5 stone, 10 stone, but if you are not healthy and you are not able to look after yourself and be independent for a long time, what was the point? So here we're looking for this to be reasons for health. Now, I could go into the whole, you know, a great way of doing this is having a really big salad as your lunch or with your dinner, and how to make salads interesting and stuff like that. But I have loads of resources and lots of content. I talk about things like this on my Instagram all the time. So if you don't follow me there, come and find me at the Mum Boss Method, where I, you know, share recipes and share tips to improve all of these things. But you will never regret adding more volume to your food, adding more bulk to your food, adding micronutrients to your food. So we're doing this for health. This is what's going to make you feel better. So when I go back to my client who, you know, was saying to me, I'm eating within my calories, but I just don't feel great, and we went through her food diary, what I saw was days where she wasn't eating any fruit or vegetables, not a scrap, not even some cucumber in a sandwich. And within a couple of weeks, we've really turned that round. She's getting her 5 a day. She's getting plenty of protein. This particular client is pre-diabetic as well, so it's really important for her to get a handle on this. Her energy levels are starting to get back up. She's starting to feel like she can move more, that she can exercise, and the weight is coming off. So, we're winning. We are winning. Absolutely, calories are king. And you can go and you can eat only takeaways for the next 30 days. And as long as you are in a calorie deficit, you will lose weight. You will lose body fat. However, the choices of your food really matter to how you feel. Now, it's been a really long time since I've even looked at how many calories are in a McDonald's. I'm going to look now. So just bear with. I should have done this before, shouldn't I? Big Mac meal. Okay, so to maintain my calories at roughly my height, weight and activity level, I need to eat about 2,000 calories. So a Big Mac meal, which is, this is in a calorie counting app, I'm assuming it's like a regular Coke, not a diet, is 1,040 calories. And that is a medium, I believe. So I could have 2 of those a day, and I would stay the same if I did that for 30 days. But I could not eat anything else. Now, like I say, my son is 12. I think the last time I had a McDonald's was when he was in my tummy. It wasn't a Big Mac, it was a cheeseburger. That was all I could manage. It's been a really long time since I ate a Big Mac, and I don't think I could do it. I don't eat meat, so I couldn't. But I know that just eating one of those would probably make me feel a bit Now, if I ate it at 1 o'clock for lunch, yes, I'd feel but eventually I would feel hungry again, and I would need to eat the other one. But that would mean that I couldn't have anything else that day. Now, if I was trying to lose body fat, so let's say I went to 1,600 or 1,700 calories a day, I could have the Big Mac meal and then a 500 or 600 calorie meal. So I'd not be feeling great, and I'd only be able to have either 2 smaller meals or 1 larger meal for the rest of the day. And I'm not being funny. Who wants to do that? So I'm talking in extremes here, but the food choices that you make are important. Yes, calories are king, but your food quality is so important as well. And I don't even mean that in a way of organic versus non-organic. I just mean thinking about how much protein, how many fruit and veg you're getting in a day, the variety of your foods. So you're getting red meat, you're getting white meat, you're getting fish, you're getting oily fish. Are you a vegan or veggie? So therefore, are you making sure that you're supplementing with things like B12 and omegas because you're not eating the oily fish and the meat? Are you getting in some dairy? Are you getting in some fortified dairy alternative? Are you getting in beans, lentils, pulses, legumes, fruits, vegetables, different colours? Like, those things are all important for your weight loss and for your health. So I've talked for longer than I had expected to. I'm going to turn off now. But if you have any questions on this, I would love to hear from you. You can find me on Instagram. You can email me at chrissy@themumbossmethod.com, or find me on Facebook. All of my links are in the show notes. If you found this podcast interesting, please share it. And if you want to know more about coaching and how you can work with me to reach your weight loss, health and fitness goals, then get in touch via one of those methods. So what you eat matters. Calories are king, but food quality is important too. So have a good one. Bye.